Welcome guys to another roundtable discussion. As you know, I'm your channel host Adam, and today I got Don with me again.
Hello.
For another roundtable discussion, and we have Ian.
Hello.
So, it's been a month approximately since we've done our last video. Maybe a little week behind, but this...
I think we are a week behind.
Yeah, but that's okay. I don't mind. And we've had quite a few things happen within the hobby side of things. So Ian here is deciding to join us today because one of the things that we're going to be covering is Imperial Assault. Star Wars Imperial Assault board game, and we've all had experience doing that, and so...
a board game? What's that?
What? Board game? We don't cover board games
Miniatures
here.
board game, so it's applicable.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
And there's a skirmish mode, too.
That's right. There is a skirmish mode, actually, which is really, really cool because it's basically the same thing as a miniature game, except there's no 3D terrain.
Yeah.
So... anyhow, before I start jumping into anything else, let's just go through what we're going to cover off today.
Right. Okay.
Starting off today, we're going to be going through, obviously, what we've done in the last month in our hobby. Right. Then we're going to go over some 40K 8th edition impressions, because I had a game today, actually, over in Barrie, Ontario. And then going to be covering the board game, discussing that. And then, as always, some Hobbit-related news, because...
back to Middle Earth.
Middle Earth is what got us together. And, well, Ian, you've came out to a tournament in the league and that as well, right?
It's been a while.
So, it's been a while. Yeah. You got a lot on your plate, though, dude. So, all right. So, what have you guys been up to in the last month?
So much hobbying. I have done more in the past month than I think the rest of the year.
Are you complaining, or is that a good thing?
It's good. Like, every day after work is done, I just get down to the table and I'm getting stuff done. I'm painting models that I've been sitting on for a long time.
Yeah.
I got a big lot of stuff for Age of Sigmar, and I was going to piecemeal it out because there's a lot of stuff I didn't need. I picked it up for conversions.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I was like, well, I could play Slaves to Darkness right now. And so I painted up 1,000 points of Slaves to Darkness.
That's pretty good.
I just got the new Sigmarite Mausoleum, which is the 2 times Garden Moor.
Yeah,
so I built the whole thing, and it's prime, dry brushed, and I started painting that.
Which I will say, that kit is beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, when did they rename that? Because I was on their store the other day, and I'm like, what the heck is this? They've
Mausoleum, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
It's okay, I guess they've repurposed it, but they
you
should,
get 2 of them really for I think it's $20 cheaper than buying 2 kits.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually, you know what? And I have the old kit, and it's a great kit, and a lot of customization, you can customize that, you know what I mean, add the different pieces and put it together however the heck you want, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. That's awesome. And I know we've gotten together recently for some Shadow War Armageddon. Yeah. You can check those out in the Eye of Terror playlist. Ian has had some unfortunate luck with that.
Yeah, practice games were fantastic. I was
because he tabled me every game.
My luck has turned since then.
Yes, and I think that is just because we found the right amount for me for terrain.
Yeah,
I mean,
density really favors Gene Stealer cults. Not so much Skitarii, who need a
line of sight. You just need to Overwatch more, is what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, and
you're relying on the shooting, and needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So every turn he just basically he can hide and get close enough to charge.
Yeah. Where if he doesn't Overwatch, he can't shoot me because he can't shoot during my movement unless you Overwatch.
And their guns don't typically like people getting close.
No, they want them at 15 inches or more away.
Yeah.
The sniper team.
So now, for anybody that doesn't know, Ian here also is an artist by trade too, right? So he does some phenomenal work. It's I know myself, I'm a novice in comparison, and so it's seeing this guy do some of this hobby stuff. You've seen the Skitarii, but you've done a Goblin Town set for the Hobbit before, beautiful and just using colors in a way that is that's there, but for the different skin tones and that.
Yeah, traditional illustration lends itself directly to miniatures painting, and that's kind of what got me into it. I had seen it, but all of my friends told me it was a time sink and money sink, and they were right.
What?
But it's just that's that's what I do to kind of chill out. Like, I can't do traditional illustration just to relax anymore because
it's a job.
Like, if I have time for it, I'm doing it for somebody. So my own time is basically applying those same skills.
So when you need to take a break from your art, you like paint miniatures.
I do different art.
More arts, but of different type. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. And are you looking for commissions right now?
Right now, no. I have too much on my plate.
But in the future, if you're looking for commissions, you guys can ask him maybe.
I consider it cool, if it's a cool piece. I don't really like doing armies and like squads. Kind of why I backed away a bit from 40K. It's not as exciting to paint. But like stuff like kill teams. And like centerpiece models, they're fantastic.
Absolutely. What about artwork in general? Not painting miniatures, but like drawings and stuff like that. If these guys wanted commissions for that, would you do stuff like that?
If you need like traditional illustration, like traditional painting, you need cover work, you need interior work, I'm down for that.
So if you have any of those needs, just let me know and I'll get you in touch. Is what I'm saying. Upsell right there. And Don, you've been busy the last month too, eh?
I have.
What have you been up to?
I think it was right around a month ago that I went to a tournament in Barry's Bay, Ontario, which is up north. So we sort of made a weekend of that, and it was a one-day tournament, and lower attendance this year. There was only 8. Last year there was 16. Could be the time of year, could be the distance.
It was on Mother's Day too.
It was on Mother's Day,
right?
But either way, it's like whether there's 20 people at a tournament or 8 people, and you play 4 games. I played 4 different people in 4 games,
and you had fun.
Yeah, and it was a really well-run tournament, and it's a great weekend. Like we went up there, stayed over 2 nights. And a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I did that. Been spending a ridiculous amount of time recording results and stuff for the Battle Companies campaign.
Which I am severely lacking in matches.
Well, actually, we ended sort of stage 1, which was the first 4 games. I guess around
3 plus the
2 weeks ago. And since then, there's been no games played. Right? So knew that was going to happen.
Sort of peak and then die out.
Yeah, well, but I filmed a video for OSBGL, and I mentioned that it's the peter out stage of the campaign. But we'll get past it. Everybody's just taking a break, and gives me a break from recording the results too, because it takes a lot of time. Because of course people don't give you everything, so you have to like sort of feed it, pull the information.
I need this specifically.
And you can. It gets to be like annoying for people if I keep like PMing them and asking them for stuff. So, but other than that, I've been put together a bunch of Hobbit models that I've had kicking around for a long time. And
now, how long have you had these Hobbit models done? Did you have to blow dust off?
Well, I put together all my Grim Hammers.
So not as old as
I bought those when they came out, which was, I don't know when that was, but it was like a few years ago.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years, I think.
And some other models. And I recently just started painting my Hobbits and my Ruffians, because the event I'm running in September, I was going to design 4 custom linked scenarios. But with the Battle Companies thing, it's taking up a lot of my time, and I have not had any time to put into that. So it's like, okay, need a new plan. So I've got the source book, what's it called? The Shire, Scouring the Shire. And those are all linked scenarios. So I'm like, perfect. Okay, so that's what I'm going to run in my event in September.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
So that's what I've been working on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess for myself, it's as I've done a ton of battle reports, Shadow War, Armageddon, been sort of scouring the interwebs for 40K related models and stuff like that, because as you know, 8th edition is right around the corner. So I managed to get myself some good deals on that. Started painting those up, added more Gene Stealer cult models to my army. So I got more for Shadow War Armageddon, but now enough to play a 40K match as well, which is pretty cool. Been working on that, and it's honestly filming battles reports and stuff like that has taken up a lot of my hobby time, and then working and everything else, right? Like it's as you know, you only have a certain amount of time, so I try to get stuff in for you guys on a regular basis, and it does take up a lot of time.
Well, with the sacrificing sleep.
We've had this conversation, I believe,
what I say.
before. So
Gaming comes first, then sleep.
And sleep.
oh, then sleep.
Well, I guess you gotta do family, otherwise you get in trouble.
Yeah, that's true, and I can't do that.
So family, gaming, and sleep.
Well, family works, gaming, sleep.
Work goes into somewhere, I don't know.
Well, you know, it's down the list somewhere. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've been sort of just slightly working on a rule pack for the Desolation of Ottawa and stuff like that, which is the Hobbit tournament that will hopefully be running in August. And that's about it, honestly. Just slate painting and building and stuff. So nothing too crazy.
Busy too?
Yeah, busy, more non-Hobbit or hobby
stuff.
Related stuff. So.
When you have time, you should put together those juching.
Yes, I know, and because they've been sitting in my pile of things to do under my desk.
Just saying,
forever.
300 points in Nomads this week. So.
Yes, you outshine me in painting skills. Hey, the Shadow War stuff I have built and put together and primed.
Yeah, it looks very good.
And I haven't done anything except for priming it. Literally, like I sprayed it. He's like, it's playable. It's terrain pieces. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to look fantastic. Yep. So I just primed it and with different colors, and so there's greens and reds and silvers and grays, and
it's what you do when you're tired and you still feel like working on hobby stuff. You work on terrain.
The easy things that you really.
That's what I do.
Though I will say I built the servo haulers. I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
Okay, so the servo haulers, you know what they are because we were using them the other day. They're basically like a construction set for 40K. And so it's like vehicles, so like you have like a crane that sits on like this little rotation thing, and you can turn it to face any angle, and you have like a two other little like tractor like vehicles that like pull things, and like it's cool because there's armored crates for 40K, and
I've seen those,
and they sit on where the crane would sit on top of one of the carts that one of the other two tractors pull around, so it's sort of mixes two different terrain kits and stuff like that. But it's if you look over by my terrain box, you'll see something that's yellow and silver over there. You guys can't see it, unfortunately, but that's something that I was working on, just because I did want to actually get those painted and not just have those straight yellow. So that'd be just weird. So yes, so talking about 40K.
Yeah, you played. Apparently.
Yeah, 8th edition today.
You played a game?
Yeah, today actually. Rudvin from Scarredcast, which you've seen us do some battle reports before together. He invited me up to Barrie, and we went to Sir Games Lot, Ontario, or I should say Barrie, Ontario. And they allowed us to use their books to play 8th edition. So we went into their little Hobbit. Oh my goodness, hobby gaming. Yeah, that's twice. Yeah, the third time will be the charm. They went into the gaming area, and they allowed us to open up and play a game. So 1,300 points, first time playing it. I know Rudvin has played a few times already. I think this was his 6th game of it. And I gotta say, it was like, obviously I'm trying to flip it through all the books because it has all the different data sheets for all the different units. And again, Gene Stealer Called is what I was using. And so flipping through all the different books and that took up a lot of the time because I wasn't sure what did what, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the rule set is really simple, really easy to actually look at the rules. There was only a couple of times where I had questions that I actually had to look at the rule books, and because we quickly flew through it, before we start playing. So like as an example, my Patriarch, which is like a big Gene Stealer, always hits on a 2+, no matter what. It's right on the data sheet. I don't need to look at anything else beyond that. It always, the toughness, how it works for wounding is, if it's equal to your strength is equal to the toughness of the unit that you're attacking, you need force. Yeah. If it's double, you need 2s. If it's higher, you need 3s. But if it's less, then you need 5s. Yeah. But if the toughness of the target is double your strength,
so once you learn that mechanic, then it's just
super. You roll, and then you have your armor modifiers and stuff like that, which is really, really cool.
Is it still fairly similar to the old grid, essentially the ranges of strength versus toughness?
No, there's weapons now that you used to only need 2s to wound. Now you need 3s because
of where it falls. Everything.
Yeah, because it's one chart for everything, right? One wounding chart for all the wounding and damage and stuff, including vehicles. Yeah, because vehicles vehicles have toughness now, which was pretty cool.
Now, did you have magic in your army, or
I had psychic powers. Yeah. So my patriarch gets 1 psychic power.
Yeah.
But then I can give him a familiar, which allows him to use, if I successfully cast 1 psychic power, allows me a chance to cast another psychic power. And so every psyker has smite. Mm-hmm. And then the patriarch can choose 1 of 3 spells or psychic powers from their chart that they have. And I gave them strength from under or something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it. My e-reader's up there. I'm not even going to look at it. But more or less it gives me +1 strength and +1 attack. And so like I could roll to see. I didn't get it off once in the entire game, so it kind of sucks.
But apparently the psychic phase is way more streamlined
2d6 2d6
than before.
Yeah, so it's 2d6. So what you do is you go, okay, I'm going to cast a spell. I'm targeting this unit.
Yeah.
Roll 2d6. If there's this enemy psyker unit within 24 inches of you, they get an opportunity to cancel the attack by rolling 2d6, and they have to beat your score.
Right.
So that's all it is, right? And so it tells you in your data sheet.
Dice, basically. Yeah.
And
so it's almost like the War Scrolls for Age of Sigmar, where magic has like a casting value.
That's right.
You have to meet or exceed that value.
That's right.
Okay.
And so, and the thing is it tells you in your data sheet how many times you can cast a psychic power and how many times in the enemy phase you can deny it. So,
and I don't know what it was called in 40k, but like there's no more like winds of magic sort of stuff going on.
Each army has its own list of powers that you can choose now. So it's not like you have a huge amount of different powers.
Because apparently that really bogged down the game.
Yeah, because at the beginning you have to generate all your different
charges,
and all your different powers, and So this is streamlined, super easy, a lot of fun, and just like we played for 3 hours. And like me, going to go through everything, like and checking the book for everything. Yeah. We got through to 4 rounds of it before Ridvan had to go because he had to go to work and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's brutal. Like, and when I say brutal, I don't mean like brutal as in bad. Brutal good. Like like my Gene Stealers call was on Ridvan turn 1. Because you have to have at least half your team on the board. Half your units have to be on the board in some fashion. So I started off with my Lehman Russ tank, my Rock Grinder with an Icon Ward, and Acolyte Metamorphs, which are like mutant guys with like super fighty. Exactly. And so I had those 5 units on the board. I had 10 units in total for 1,300 points. And then the other 5 units were in reserve, which I could choose to infiltrate them and do the cult ambush at the end of any of my movement phases. Mm-hmm. Didn't have to be turn 1, didn't have to be turn 2, it could be any movement phase, right? So I was just like, well, I'm just playing to learn the game. I'm not playing because I want to win. I just want to learn the mechanics. I want to learn the game, so I'm going to do everything turn 1. And so I had 15-man unit of neophytes, which are like the guys in mining suits with like mining lasers, appear 9 inches right behind 2 of his units. And I had Gene Stealers off to one side, 12-man unit with the Patriarch, because what I can do is I can roll for HQ, then attach a troop bait choice to them, so they use the same roll. So they came in together. Then I use the Primus, which he gets to re-roll on this chart that tells me where I get to go, and he got right in there, and like it was
so cool. You were like right in
turn 1, right? Turn 1. I was charging him turn 1.
Yeah. What army did he have?
Dark Eldar.
Dark Eldar.
So okay. Pretty cool army, and like comparatively to before, like tanks and vehicles are super tough. Like he had his jet, I think it's like Raven Wing or something like that, and it had like 10 wounds, and like it was so hard to take down. You know what I mean? And like your vehicles last that much longer unless you're actually dedicating something that actually will wound a vehicle.
Because they have significantly higher toughness.
That's right. And wounds. Like my Lehman Russ had 12 wounds.
Yeah, instead of doing the old hull point system, it's just straight out wounds.
There's no instant huge explosion vehicle going.
No. Yeah. You can explode once you destroy all the wounds, but and it's cool because they degrade over time, right? So so it was pretty cool that I was like my Gene Stealers, some of them were able to, like I rolled a 6 for one of them, and so I could choose to, like I come in and I get to shoot and do everything normally again. So I could shoot at my target as I infiltrate in, and then I get to move and do everything like I normally would at the end of the movement phase. And so like I could charge and I could do all this crazy stuff. It was awesome. So it was just really cool. It brought the fight turn 1 and it was a lot of fun. The Gene Stealers blow over to a stiff wind, you know what I mean? Some a little bit more so than others because they only have like a 5-up armor save, you know what I mean? And when you start getting the modifiers and everything else, then you're not going to be making any saves. So, and you pick up like before when you would play like the Apocalypse version of 40k, you would pick up handfuls of models that were destroyed as you play, right? Regular 40k, I didn't find that you did that as much. Like, you lost lots of models, but it wasn't like a ton all the time, right? Where this, it was just like people were dying left, right, and center. Because at the end of, so to break it into phases, you have your move phase, your psychic phase, your shoot phase, your charge phase, and then your morale phase. So at the end of a round, you add up all the number of models that were slain from a unit. And you roll a d6, add that number to the d6 roll, and if it beats the leadership, that's how many more models you subtract from the unit.
Leadership isn't just, you passed
and
you're done, or you fail and you're gone. It's like you rolled bad and you're not gone, but you take off a handful of guys.
So, and like command points, you get command points based off the detachment that you use. So I use the battalion detachment, so it had 2 to 3 HQ choices, had to have 3 troop choices, and then I could have 0 to 3 elites, fasts, and heavies, right? And it gave me an extra, I think, 2 or 3 command points. I had 6 to Ridvin's for, and really super handy because like you could alter, because when in the fight phase, people who charge get to fight first. All right, so if it's your turn, you charge 3 units out of your 5. Those 3 get to fight first. In any order that you want.
There's no initiative.
There's no initiative anymore. No. And then after that, who's ever turn it is gets to choose the next model to fight. So I did that. So that would happen. But the person who, I should say your opponent, can use 2 command points to then say, no, I'm going to activate this guy before you activate again. You know what I mean? So they can sort of play with that a little bit by using these command points. And it made a big difference because one of his models was able to kill one of my HQ choices like by doing that before he ever got to activate.
So it almost feels like the heroic actions from the SVG game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just allows you to interrupt the flow of the game.
That's right. Which is really, really cool, I think. So
it is.
And like once you get good at the system, I can see how it'd be a very fast system to play. But again, for me, I'm just like, what does this do again? You know what I mean? Like, but looking at the core rules, they're like 12 pages long, and there was only a couple of times I had to reference back to them. So one of the time is I disembarked a unit, assaulted somebody, killed the unit, so I got to consolidate, and so I was like, can I, with my consolidation move and re-embark back into the vehicle? You're not allowed to do that in the same turn. You can't disembark and embark on a vehicle in the same turn. So that was like one of the things that I had to reference back to the rules to find, right? But like for the core rules of how to play, super easy. Didn't have to worry about it that much.
Nice. So overall impression?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I plan on getting more games in. Unfortunately, I can't do any battle reports yet because my army isn't painted, and I won't film a battle report without a painted army, right? It just, to me, it's just not right, in my opinion.
Do you have any other 40k armies besides the Gene Stealer?
I do have 1,000 Suns that I picked up. I picked up I picked up a box of the Rubric Marines, and so really like them because they're like that's sort of like Egyptian style sort of Space Marines. And then I found online somebody was doing a yard sale in Oshawa area, and he was selling stuff for dirt cheap. And so like for $200 I got like a Land Raider, a Predator, a Vindicator, a Rhino, a Death Dread, or is it Defiler, the big Defiler. What's the bird flying friggin' Helldrake, thank you. Got a Helldrake. I got a ton of troops, and then he threw in like the Codex, then he threw in another box of Rubric Marines. Like so like I got like $500 worth of stuff or more for like $200. And then I even got the Temple of Skulls terrain piece as well. So.
Oh, I saw that in your place.
Yeah. So like the deals that I've been getting have been fantastic. So, and then I still have bits and pieces from when I used to play 40K before I got out of it for my Space Wolves army. So that would just be like really, really tiny stuff and nothing big.
Do you have any 40K stuff, Ian?
I sold off most of mine. I do have some kill team size stuff. I have some Chaos Space Marines. I have some. I have Skitarii because I've been using them.
Yay, Skitarii!
And bits and pieces here and there. But nothing full. I'm waiting and hoping that GW brings out some plastic Sororitas models, and then I will get back in.
Yeah? For plastic.
Yes.
I took a picture of the new Death Guard models when I was at Sir Games Lot today.
They look
Post them online. Oh my goodness.
Those the ones that come in the box?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. They are so nice to see them in person and like be able to like handle them and like look at the detail.
It's very tempting.
Phenomenal.
I can't do it because everybody is going to be playing Death Guard and Primaris Marines. And I don't want to have the same thing on the table because then it gets a bit boring. So I'm waiting for Sororitas because right now nobody's playing them.
Is there another army that you would play besides that?
I might expand my Skitarii.
Yeah.
And
there's some good deals online too. You know what I mean? That GW offers themselves like the $100 packs and stuff like that, right? So just start collecting boxes.
I might, depending on what direction I go with my Age of Sigmar stuff, I was thinking of adding in some Nurgle demons and dedicating my Slaves to Darkness to Nurgle, just for the bonuses that entails. And so those will carry over. So
absolutely.
Might just build off of that.
Oh, Daemons, that's the other thing that I have too. Lots of Daemons. Tzeentch Daemons, obviously to go with Rubric Marines, but they can be used, again, for Age of Sigmar or on their own, right? So
cool. So you have some painting to do.
Oh my goodness, my wife hates me. I mean, what about yourself?
Yeah, I have still a lot of 40K, even though I haven't really played for like 7 years, I think.
That's a long time. You used to do a lot of tournaments, stuff like that too, right?
I played 40K hardcore from the day that it was released up until about 7 years ago, until I couldn't stand it anymore. But I still have all my stuff, so I have like a painted Space Marine army, I have a painted Chaos Space Marine army, I got a painted Dark Eldar army, and Eldar. And
so you don't need to paint anything, you just
not really. I could play. Like we're gonna the games club that I run,
the Newmarket Games Club.
The Newmarket Games Club. Our last day in the hall that we've had for the last 25 years is coming up in 2 weeks, and everybody's bringing their 40K because 40K was the biggest game we've ever had at our club over the years. It was so huge back in the day.
I might have to take the day off work.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
come on down.
You know Greg, right?
Yeah.
It was his idea because he was like, the first day that I came to the club, I played 40K and like I taught him 3rd edition, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he's like, last day in the hall is going to be 40K, right?
7th or new?
New.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I will try my best, sir, to get there because that would
good. That'd be good. Yeah.
So I think that'd be really good.
So based on what you played today,
yes.
Was there anything that they added you didn't like, or anything that they brought over from 7th that you wish they scrapped?
Tough question.
Okay, so there was nothing that I didn't like about it. I'm just being honest. Like, it was super streamlined, super easy. The rules were condensed into like 12 pages. Like, it was great to play. And in all honesty, like, a lot of the rules are now in the index books, right? So like your rules for your army are on your data sheets and all that stuff. So like I really can't say what was brought over for everything, but like everything I used today, like it was great how it was. And I know like my Called Ambush was brought over from 7th edition, but it's been slightly changed. Like now I can't go back into reserves, which is good in some sense because like in 7th edition, and I've never played 7th edition Gene Stealer Called, you could infiltrate in using your Call to Ambush abilities and then like sneak back, fade back into the shadow if you weren't within 6 inches of an enemy, then do it again, right? And so you could just sort of like jump in all over the place, and like I would think that would be kind of cheesy in a sense, you know what I mean? Like once you're out and already shooting at somebody, all of a sudden you're disappearing, you know what I mean, again, right? So I'm like,
but really, like it may take you a couple of 2, 3, 4 games before you sort of
get the feel.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that rule.
That's
or,
right.
You know, I really like this new thing they added.
I like how the psychic powers are done now. It's very simple. You know, it's quicker because it's not like I'm like, oh, how many dice do I need? Oh, I'm going to use this mount. You know what I mean? You're not sort of doing that sort of resource management. It makes it quicker. The shooting, having everything on your data sheet is phenomenal. Like even your weapons that you can have are on your data sheet, so you can just sort of look, okay, I'm using this, blah, roll, right?
I'm excited about it just because I haven't played for so long and I've kept all my stuff. Like
you didn't
hoping beyond hope that one day the game would come back and I would enjoy it again. And this looks like it's going to be something that like I'll play again. So
I think you'll enjoy it. Like, and I think you're interested in Age of Sigmar. You like this. You like what you've read on Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I do like the simplification of the system that they've done, and balancing it with the General's Handbook was a huge step. And
so take that and then just refine it.
Grimdark.
Refine it, and that's what this is, right? That's what 8th edition is, and so I give it 2 thumbs up because that's the 2 hands that I have. And don't take my opinion on it. Go out there, get the books, and try it for yourself. Or go into your local GW store or your local friendly gaming shop. See if they have a in-store copy that they're allowing people to peruse and try the game. You know, take 2 hours. Go throw some dice. It doesn't have to be a lot of points.
18th is the official release?
17th.
17th? 17th. And do you know if PDFs for the rules will be available that day for the basic rules?
17th, I believe, is what I heard. So everything should be free online through the store on the 17th. So that's going to be a week and a bit away.
All right. So 2 thumbs up for 40K 8th edition.
That's right.
Right on. I'm glad to hear that.
I got out of it because I felt, in the same way as you, I felt 7th was bloated.
Yeah.
You know, to play certain armies, as you were discussing earlier, you needed 4 books. You had to have the best of the best, and everything. Like, and it was balanced now. You know what I mean? In the game today, it was fairly balanced. Which is a huge thing. So
see, I'm not averse to complexity because Infinity is ridiculously complex.
Sorry, what is that again?
Infinity. It's very complex.
Yes,
but it feels like everything has a purpose. Like the rules are there for a reason.
Yeah,
and once you start learning some of the rules, everything else is intuitive and kind of falls in line.
Yeah.
Whereas like 40K and 7th. Because everything was so spread out and there were so many codices to keep track of and data sheets and supplements.
Yeah. And it's really silly for Infinity, you can have that level of rules when you're playing a game where you have 5 to 10 models.
Yes.
Right? Whereas in 40K, needing that many books to play an army with like 30 models in it
is insane.
I just feel very bad for tournament organizers who are running things in 7th just because there was such a dearth of knowledge that they had to kind of be aware of. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Cool. So it should be great in 8th edition.
Absolutely.
All right. So going to talk about something new.
Yeah, something brand. Well, not brand.
Well,
it's new to us.
For us.
New to us.
These things called board games.
What? Board games?
And we're cheating this time. The first time.
Well, no. It's not cheating. It's sort of like a segue in, you know what I mean? Like it's sort of like bridging the gap, right?
The gateway board game.
Yeah, the gateway board game. There we go. I like that. It's sort of like bridging the gap.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah. So Star Wars Imperial Assault. Who's playing it?
I got an idea.
Okay.
Let's all write down secretly on our paper what you would give this game out of 10, between 1 and 10. Okay, and then when we're all done our talking, we'll reveal our scores. Because we have all played a lot of board games and miniature games and whatnot.
I'm more miniature games and board games. I'm just starting to get into board games. Actually, Ian and his family and a couple of his friends actually have sort of taken me under their wings, if I may, and have been sort of my wife and I.
You know how, especially now, there's like a ridiculous amount of miniature games that have come out.
Yeah,
there's 10 times as
that
many
in board games. Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
and a lot of really amazing board games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who's gonna reveal first?
Well, let's save the reveal until after we talk about it.
No, I can't move my hands.
Okay, so what is this? What is this game? Because it's not
Star Wars.
It's not like a board game like Monopoly, where you roll dice and move pieces around the outside, right?
Monopoly.
Yeah,
primarily, it's a narrative board game that uses a mission-based system, and it has it's competitive cooperative in that one person will control all of the Imperials, and everybody else at the table will control rebels trying to achieve different mission objectives.
So there's kind of a GM, like a game master.
Absolutely.
Almost.
They set the tale for the mission that you're playing on that day. Oh, sorry, gotta keep this covered. It's a secret. It's a secret. I'll turn it over. There we go, because I talk with my hands.
But it is an all-in-one box game.
Absolutely.
And it is, like we mentioned, it comes with a lot of miniatures in it, and the miniatures are excellent.
I like the miniatures.
Really nice.
They're
not painted, but they're like, I think the Imperials were all gray and
and then the Rebels are all like this tan sort of like beige.
So even if you don't paint them, you can still quickly tell which side is which.
Yeah. And it's played on what would you call them? Tiles.
Yeah,
So
like orthographic map tiles.
Yeah.
So they have like the printed squares on it, then all the different terrains printed right onto there with different lines to represent whether it be like
types of terrain,
barrier or impassable and stuff like that.
This game really, it's a fantasy flight game.
Which that company makes some great stuff. So
yeah, they do.
I'll shut up now.
And the predecessor to this game, which was one of Fantasy Flight's big games, is Descent, which has been out for years and has many, add-ons to it.
Yeah, tons of expansions.
Yeah, and that is the same type of game, but it's in a fantasy realm, right? And like you said, it's a narrative game. It's almost like a hybrid game that's combining like miniatures. It's combining a board game. There's cards. There's role playing. It's kind of taking all of these different elements and putting it into one box that you can open and play. And in this case, like the scenario is it takes place like right after the first Death Star is destroyed. Like there's a whole story to the campaign.
Yep.
But there's like a bunch of other games out there now that are very, like, even as far back as Games Workshop had Hero Quest and Advanced Hero Quest. Same idea. They have reissued that game as well.
Yep.
But that one is really into the GW hobby, where there's painting of the miniatures involved and everything, where there really isn't in this. Or
you don't need to. It's not a requirement.
There's a lot of games out there now that are like hybrid board games like this, like Super Dungeon Explorers, another big one that's along the same line as this.
Yeah.
Right. My issue with this game is that
here we go.
I would say this is really more intended for a younger person.
Okay.
Like not really young kids, but
it's gonna be full right up to the top. So just be careful.
Don't explode it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll open it over here.
Yes. Just not on your side.
But like I said, like it takes all these different elements of the game.
Yeah.
And sort of combines them into one. And although like the miniatures are good, but if you're a miniature player, well, they're just static miniatures you don't paint.
Yeah, and like they're already built. You know what I mean?
And if you're a role player, the role playing component of the game is like really boiled down.
Well, there's very next to no role playing element to it.
Well, there is, because there's experience. Your guys gain experience, you gain abilities, you gain gear. Like that's what I mean when I say the role.
The role playing has to come down to how you actually use your character on the table. Like, do you get into the role of the character and act accordingly?
The Wookiee and go and rip arms off.
Yeah. So that's, if I was to have an issue, like I've played this game once. I played it yesterday, and I did enjoy it, and it's like very immersive in this whole Star Wars thing, which is great. Love Star Wars. If I did have an issue with the game, it's that like if you look at all the components of the game, none of them are great, but like as a package together, it's quite good.
You know what? The biggest component issue that I have right now is I don't like the specialty dice.
Yeah.
You know, that's just me. And my dislike for the specialty dice came out with going back to role playing with role playing. And so like, you know, different role-playing games where you needed specialty dice for it.
Even this is a lot different than needing a D20.
Yeah.
These are like really custom dice.
I just want regular dice, numbered dice.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go out. Because what happens then is you get the markup on the dice because there's specialty dice that are already specialties because not everybody uses dice.
Yeah. That's a hallmark of Fantasy Flight.
Yes,
but technically you don't need more dice than what comes in the box.
True, because everybody's playing cooperatively.
I actually like the specialty dice.
Really?
And normally I'm not for it, but because it plays in so much to the theme, and also what you were saying, this is a little bit light on some of the elements, that I think is one of its strengths, because you can bring people, say you don't like Star Wars, or you don't like role-playing, or you don't like miniatures games.
Yeah.
This is easy to get into for any of those people because it is relatively light on those themes.
Yes.
So if you're trying to teach somebody miniature games rules and you're telling them like what you have to roll and what you have to hit, like say
it could be overwhelming.
Yeah, it could be a lot of information, but this, you roll your dice, you look at it, you compare it to your card, and there's your result.
No, and I agree with that. Okay, I do like that aspect of it. It's just I have an innate dislike normally for specialty dice.
When you open a dice and you say this is not like a normal 6-sider, it's got all these funny symbols on it. But
it's just like I said, it stems back to like getting different RPG games that have specialty dice. That's where my dislike stems from, is that. And so I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. It is great and does lend itself that way, but for me, I'm still have that slight dislike.
Like the dice for me is not really an issue because like I play a lot of different games.
Yeah.
And there are actually a lot of games out now that are just like simple games that are dice games, and they're built on like custom sided dice, like zombie dice or bang dice. There's like a lot of games that are just like simple, quick games, but they're dice games now.
Yeah.
So you see that a lot.
Well,
and Fantasy Flight, like if you play Fantasy Flight games, you're used to
specialty dice.
X-Wing is the same.
X-Wing is the same. It is the same. Don't get me wrong. So, and I'm not saying that they don't have a purpose and they don't have a place, because they do, both in this game and X-Wing. It's just I just have that one. I just kind of want regular dice, just on principle. Yes.
Now there are. Are there 2 expansions to this game? Or
there's actually
a bunch,
3 or 4 core box
for big boxes. There's Bespin. There's the Hoth set, and Jabba's Palace is out now.
That's right.
And then they have multiple small expansions.
Yeah, for all the different characters.
For different characters,
like So, and the thing that we haven't touched on too is you don't have to just play this as a cooperative, like one GM and a whole bunch of players. You can play it 1 versus 1 because there is a skirmish element, which ties in those other little expansions, because you get more miniatures that you can use to feed.
So you give
armies, right?
You give miniatures like a point value, and you play something like that.
Yeah.
So when you get an expansion box, it will come with your new characters, and it will come with cards for the game.
Yeah.
And then they'll have like a fold-out sheet, and one side will have all the information to do a mission or 2 that you can work into a campaign as a side mission.
Yeah.
And the other side is like skirmish information and like sometimes skirmish map setups for them.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of value in your little expansion.
And let's be honest, to get some of these, because in this box I have a couple of expansions. One is like the smuggler for the rebels, and so like you get your model, you get all that stuff for like $10.
It's a new character with his.
Well, it's a new unit that your players can bring in as an ally if you're playing the story mode. Or in the skirmish, you can use it and hire and bring it in as
the
regular.
thing with this is that there are a lot of games too that are like expanded to death, right?
Yeah.
Like the game, like just keep putting out expansion after expansion. So does that mean, and I don't know because like I say, I've only played this once. I know, Ian, you've played a little more. What's the replayability on this for the campaign that comes in the core box?
I'd say just for the core box, it's pretty good because the main story itself, you can play through the campaign multiple times because there are different side missions that may or may not happen depending on if your players fail a mission or not. The person who's running the game will get to choose different options or what happens.
And like your main missions are different too, not just the side missions.
Yeah, they will switch up.
Well, there's a deck of cards which are missions, and then the player group gets some but not all of those cards.
There's
as
kind of
their,
a branching mission path for it.
right,
Which gives it a lot of playability.
and each
right?
of the characters that you can play, which I think there were half a dozen or so, each one of those characters has their own side mission that you can
eventually get on. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And each of them, you don't have to have them leveling up the same way either, right? So like one time you can be like, I'm going to try these skills out, right? Where next time you play
can
that
focus
character,
on
you can
different
something-
abilities,
Exactly.
So that's good. I like a game that has replayability like that, even though you may have played through the core mission. There is replayability to it, different characters, different side missions, so on.
Yeah. My question though, and this is the question that trumps them all: is there Boba Fett?
There is a Boba Fett. Yes.
There is a Boba Fett, and that's all that matters to me. I'm a huge Boba Fett fan, Mandalorian fan. So when I saw that the Jabba Palace was coming out and Boba Fett, I definitely want to get my hands on that one.
I don't own the core game, but I know enough people who do.
Yes.
I went out and I bought a recent expansion just because how cool it was.
Yeah, you got.
I got the 000 and BT1 evil droid pack. It's fantastic.
And you painted them up too. So that which
you
is
painted them?
Yeah,
pretty
right.
cool. So
They make
I
some
have
cool
it
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
So and then you were playing at the club too in town, and so I enjoy the game. I've only played it a handful of times. I want to get people together to play it on a regular basis. Who knows? Maybe we might see it on the channel sometime. Maybe do.
What about
film it.
how much would this game go for? Like, is it $100 game, $150?
$40.
Yeah.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Not what you paid.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I would have bought it if I had money at the time. But
Then here I was. Last copy? Yes, please.
it retails about 100 to 120 depending on where you pick it up.
Yeah. But it's worth it.
And I think
It's
for
worth
the
it.
amount of time that you will get out of it, even with a single playthrough, is probably worth it.
Yeah. So,
Good quality components.
Well, we started the campaign, and I hope to
continue it on.
play through it and finish.
I would like to start a campaign and hopefully share it with everybody. Ian would probably be involved with that if he would be interested, and I know a few other people that might be interested too. But it's something that I would like to do because it is a board game, skirmish game, miniature game that I enjoy. So and that's only just playing it a handful of times. So
Okay.
all right,
Scores?
What'd you give it, Ian?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Okay,
Strong.
The only thing I'm going to dock it for, I love this game. I understand you get a lot of stuff in the box, but I don't like board game quality plastic. Cleaning up the miniatures because I'm going to want to go in and paint them up and make them look as good as I can.
that's just the artist in you coming out.
Sanding and cleaning them can be a bit of a chore with this type of plastic, just because it tends to burr when you file it.
Okay.
But that's the only reason.
That's going deep. Like that's going pretty deep. I'm just saying.
It's a pretty detailed reason.
Okay, done.
Okay, I'm at the opposite end of the scale, kind of. I gave it a 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
And the reason why, and again, maybe it'll grow on me. I only played it once, so. But I've played a ton of role playing, a ton of miniature games, a ton of board games, and this game isn't strong in any of those.
Yeah.
Together, it is a good game.
Yes.
Right. But when I play it, I'm just like looking at all these elements that to me are just not.
It's sort of like a hybrid.
So you see potential there that they didn't meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So what you got?
Oh, I gave it an 8. Okay, first off, it's Star Wars. Who doesn't like Star Wars?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So Star Wars, that's A, got my intrigue.
That gives it 1 point right off the top, right?
more than that. But then there's the miniatures and the board game stuff. The only reason why I didn't go higher, A, was my innate dislike for specialty dice. I'll be honest. But B, I was kind of hoping instead of having specific tiles laid out in a certain way, I kind of want the miniature game side of it to be an actual miniature game side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
so rather than tile-based movement, you want actual like measuring distances and kind of an open playing field.
That's right. And that's what I was sort of hoping. Though you can't get this style of game with that, and I completely understand that because you can't get all the terrain in this box. You know what I mean? So I get why it is this way, but for me, I'm really wanting to see a Star Wars miniature game. You know what I mean? Where you can take your stormtroopers, take a Jedi, take whatever the heck you want. But I really would like to see an actual miniature game. This isn't a miniature game completely. It's a board game, hybrid thing. But I wanted to see a miniature game. And so that's why I only gave it an 8.
Well, let's play the skirmish sometime and then reevaluate.
See, and that,
there you go.
But and that would change, right? Yeah. Because I've never played the skirmish. I've only done the campaign, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm not gonna lie, but it's just my innate dislike for the specialty dice, and the whole wanting it to be an actual miniature game, not a tile-based movement in the squares. Yeah. So,
but I think our average score is still pretty strong. It's just under
7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
So, and really, I haven't delved into it more, so I might like it more. But if I play it more, I bought this because I saw it dirt cheap, and I was like, well, I can't complain. $40. It was
a deal. Yeah.
Was it like I think it was like
70% off?
Yeah. It was insane. It was.
Is that at a store? Or?
Yeah, in town in Lindsay. They got stock from another store that closed down, and nobody was buying it. And so then they just put a whole bunch of stuff on sale.
On weekend.
And so I went and picked it up.
That's deal.
It was a great deal.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't used it yet because the copies that I played were Ian's friends. So, yes. But I've pulled it all out and bought a couple of expansions for it. So.
All right. That's Imperial Assault.
Imperial Assault. We'll check that one off the list.
We will.
All right. On to Hobbit SBG news. Ian, take us away.
This is where I'm going to get a little bit quieter.
I knew that was the case.
You got the list in front of you.
Come on now.
I did see that they released the Goblin King and the Captain and the Scribe as like their own thing now, so you don't have to buy the Goblin Town box set.
They did. And on top of that, the flip side of that, they also released the plastic dwarves too from the box set.
Oh, yeah.
So you can buy those on your own.
Everything from the box set is now available.
Yep. Which is good.
Individual purchase, yeah.
Which is good.
And I wonder if that means that they've finally sold through all of the copies of the box set. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
I'm not sure, but
I like it. It's good news for people that just want to buy the Goblin King.
Yeah, or in my case,
company,
because I was looking at maybe converting a couple on Pony or something like that, and I don't want to go out and buy a whole brand new box of Goblin Town just to convert. So it makes it that much more affordable. So that was that's pretty cool. I like that. That's for us Hobbit fans.
Well, for them too, they didn't have to produce anything new.
It's already there, right? Yeah. And last time we were talking about what's going to be released next in plastic. Well, we technically got it.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not what we were thinking, but we got it.
That's right. So they did announce quite a bit of stuff that's going to be coming out or has been just recently released
from Forge World.
I don't know about you, but there's a couple things in there that make me raise an eyebrow, kind of like a little bit of an odd thing.
Oh, sorry. I'll stop making the O face. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if you've seen it, but a couple of the new releases for Bard's daughters and son, Bane, Sigrid, and Tilda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. It's funny. It's funny stuff.
They're just squeezing the franchise for everything they can drop out.
But they actually, there's rules for them, and the rules are actually really good for the Lake Town Militia because they did play a role in the movies, right? Even if it was just being chased down by orcs and stuff.
They're in some of the scenarios as well, right? So if you're a scenario player, these are models that you're gonna want, and as a collector, you're gonna want them as well.
Yeah, right. I'll be getting them because I'm gonna be doing Lake Town, right? So, well, I should say. Militia.
Yeah, so that we're talking about that.
Here.
So that was one of the soon to comes from Forge World was Bane, Sigrid, and Tilda.
The O faces. You know what I mean?
They all got their mouths open.
Yeah, they all have their mouths open. Which I get it, because they're trying to portray the fear that was happening in the kids in the movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense, but it's still kind of funny as heck.
Yeah.
I laughed. I laughed a lot, actually. I did. So, but yeah, they're going to be coming out, and so I do have a Lake Town Militia army that I will be building at some point when I have time, which isn't gonna. I wanted to do it for this year, but by the looks of it, it's not going to be happening for this year. I have a lot of them built, just not painted. Unless I send them away to a commission painter, which I don't know if I'm
You don't think you'll be doing that.
That's a cost.
You're too busy buying stuff and saving money and getting great deals, but still spending a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't tell my wife.
So yeah, Bane, Sigrid, and Tilda probably will not be a huge seller. I could be wrong, but I'm just assuming. But the other one that they mentioned that was soon to come will be a huge seller, and that is the Iron Hills crossbows.
Yeah,
everybody loves the Iron Hill Dwarves.
Right now, a huge thing, right? That's one of the latest factions that they've been really supporting, and the crossbows look kind of wonky, but it's a needed component to that team. Like, it's a solid army right now. Don't get me wrong. You add 1 or 2 ballistas in there, and your spear and shield line, and well, Dane, who is a beast, and it just doesn't have any other shooting.
They're lacking in their ranged game.
Because you have 2 shots with a ballista if you have 2 of them, right? So if you miss with both, then
I mean that's the last component to add to that army to make it ridiculously good.
Yes,
they have high defense. They've got a killer high-powered character.
Yeah,
they've got spears. They've got the special rule for the shield wall. Yeah, they've got cavalry. And now they have shooting as well.
Yep.
So
and just as an example, and you guys can watch it on Saturday, the next Tales of Middle Earth, you'll see my Iron Hill Dwarves going up against a Mumak. And that high defense plays into a factor there. Let's just say somebody put up the shield wall. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely an element. The only thing that they're missing now is magic.
Right.
But they don't need it. I don't think they need it.
You don't need magic to win.
Well, in the current meta, you do. In the current meta, you do.
People will argue that, but
the high end, the high end tier players and generally have some form of magic.
Yeah. Right.
So, look at Drew. Every time he plays an army, how many ring race does he have on Felbies? Right. One minimum.
Well, I mean, that's his thing, off topic, but it's one of the things in the game that is transfix equals win. Right?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So I want to bring a smog to a tournament sometime. Though the objective-based games would kill me, but I would annihilate a lot of things. Throat punch, bam.
So they announced also the Troll Brute.
Yep.
Is going to be coming out
with 2 different mounts.
Which of the dwarves is the one that rides it? I forget. It's only in the extended edition.
Biffer.
Yeah.
With his floppy hat.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, Biffer I think is one that's on top of it. But so it has both mounts, him and the orc. So I don't think there's rules for Biffer riding it though.
What do you honestly think of that model?
Well, when I saw it in the movie, I thought it was ridiculous. Mm.
They took a lot of things in the movie that sort of made it go, that's not SPG Middle Earth stuff. What? So
but I mean the model is really nice. I think the model, they've done a really good job on the model.
It's really round. You want to know when I first saw it, I kind of thought Michelin Man.
I thought Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
See, see, we're in the same line. Okay, cool.
I'm just trying to think of the wisdom of riding around a blinded monster on peg legs with flail arms.
It's a pirate. I don't know.
Okay, don't trying to get into realism.
Yeah. No, it's we're playing with plastic toy soldiers and dice. Come on, people. So
I'm just saying I would not want to be on its back.
Yes, I would not want to be either. But
and I don't know. I'm not familiar with the rules for it.
Are they the ones that came out of the ground? right out of the cave in the subterranean? Is that why it was sort of like blinded and stuff like that? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't watched the extended edition. I know, stupid me.
You haven't what?
Haven't watched the extended edition. Yes, I've only watched the originals, and it's been a while since I watched any of them. So
okay, so one of the ones that like made me raise my eyebrow, that's just strikes me as odd, is they're releasing from Forge World another Thorns company, and I'm like, what? They had to have one in plastic, one in resin, now one for Forge World.
They've been around for a while, because if you look at some of the pictures in the books, I can't remember where it was. These models have been around for a while, so but now they're like, people want them. Yeah, here they go. You know what I mean?
So this is what I was thinking. It's like, okay, if they already had these in the tank, then it makes perfect sense. You may as well put them out. Yeah,
they were Forge World. I can't remember what book it was, and I don't have my books handy, but it was one of the more recent books, like Desolation of Smog, or the thin one that was brought out for
Battle of Five Armies.
Yeah. So, but there's a picture of them. They're in there.
Oh, so okay. I'll have to check.
So they were already in one of the books, and you could see them. People were like, "Oh, where are these nice models?" You know, because it had Killian Philly. I think they were like in hoods and stuff like that.
Okay, so they're wearing new gear from different parts of the film.
Yeah, just a new sculpt, right? So.
Well, it's the same thing with, if that's the case, then it's the same thing with one of the other models they came out, which is a fantastic model, and it's Gwahir. Dude. It's a new model for Gwahir. And funny, it's very similar to the one that you made.
Yes, it is, actually.
Yeah, right?
It is. It is. Like the one that I did for the painting competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just stand up and grab one. So I got this guy. That's the one that I just used a basic eagle and had him chasing down a hunter ward.
Yeah.
There's no fell ward though on there.
Yeah, so the new one has the fell ward on it as well.
Yeah.
And that is an older model. Apparently it's a couple years old as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was apparently sculpted by one of the GW designers a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I did not know that.
What strikes me as kind of odd about the timing of the release for that one, and this is just me, but
that's the hood up and stuff like that, so it's just new sculpt.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah, those are the dwarves.
Yeah.
It's like I in my mind I'm thinking, okay, the new rules are not coming out until mid 2018. Okay.
Yes.
So they've just released effectively the Desolation of Smog and the Battle of Five Armies combined as one book. Okay.
Yes.
Well, the Unexpected Journey of the Hobbit is attached to the main rulebook right now.
Yes.
Okay. So the main rulebook is going to be replaced. So to me, that means it's pretty obvious that they're going to come out with another book for the Unexpected Journey.
I think so.
Right.
I think
and I think there's probably a few things in there that need a little attention. Right.
Eagles.
Yeah, right. We all know the Eagles are getting rules, just as one example, right?
Well, so it's in the scenario
and because that portion or that one movie is attached to the main rulebook, to me, that's something that's going to be released between now and when the main rulebook comes out.
Yeah.
So why would they release Gwahir now instead of when they're releasing that book?
I think personally it's just because it's something that has been sitting around. Because if you look at the stuff that they're releasing recently, Lake Town Houses, it's been sitting around for ever. It was
so they're just taking stuff out of the vault.
That's right.
It could just be a financial thing to kind of drip feed all of these releases to show that the line is getting consistent income.
That's right.
Until they do their big release and then they'll see a spike.
Let's be honest though, right? Even though they're just sort of putting out little bits and pieces at a time, people are buying this stuff. You know what I mean? Like they are actually buying these models, and so that hopefully shows something to GW. So and I think it's just what they're doing is taking models in, because I didn't know Gwahir was an older sculpt that they've released, but like for these ones like Thorns Company,
I heard that on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. From Andreas, I'm assuming.
No, it was from another channel.
Another channel. Another channel. I don't know who you are, but
I forget. It was one Ashley. Of the Australians. Yeah, I think it was Ashley. Yeah. Shout out to Ashley.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know that about Gwahir, but that's what I'm thinking now that I know that is just that they're older sculpts that they've had sitting around that they've already done the actual models, the original, what are they called? The original models, the casts? No, that's not what they're called.
The greens? Oh, it depends what they're sculpting in, actually.
Okay, well, I had no idea. Well,
The proofs.
the proofs,
I
whatever.
don't know what word you're looking for.
The base, because they make a cast of
Just
the
like
originals,
the
right?
master sculpt.
Yeah, like the master sculpt. So they already have those sitting around. So then they just have to start, doing all the molding and stuff like that. So.
So there's a list of stuff also that what was the event in the UK that they had there? Warhammer.
They had Warhammer Fest.
Yeah. So this all came out at Warhammer Fest, and stuff that's going to be coming out is Percy and Hilda Blanca. I'm not sure who that is.
Hilda, Bianca.
Bianca?
Is it Bianca? Hilda Bianca. Where's my rule book? God, she's the one that.
It's a Lake Town.
Yeah, it's a Lake Town one. She has a spear. Is she the spear one or is she the bow one? I think she's the spear one. That when she charges, every model that's within 3 inches.
Well, because Percy is like
something.
Sort of second in command, isn't he?
Percy is the bow guy, shooting and stuff like that.
So he like
gets
Bard's,
a bonus. Gives other.
Is he like Bard's best friend or something?
I don't know.
You're not sure.
So are they going to be hero models for Lake Town Militia then?
Yeah. Here the feel of Lake Town Militia Army is basically it's all about the bonuses and buffs from the heroes and stuff like that. But as soon as you take the heroes out, it's kind of meh. You know what I mean? Like it's not that good. But like when you think about Lake Town Militia though, you can take Gandalf the Grey and Bilbo with the ring without any of the negative effects. That's pretty good still. But anyhow, off topic.
Okay, so the other one, and this is another one, the last of my, just kind of seems weird, and that is the General's Accessory Pack. Amazing idea. But okay, we're a year away from a new edition of the rules. Is everything in the General's Accessory Pack going to be simpatico with the new rule set?
Simpatico, isn't that a
Yeah, that's a word, man. Simpatico.
Simpatico?
Yeah, it's not just like email.
An outdated service provider.
Yes. Have you guys heard of simpatico before? Let us know in the comments below.
It's like in line with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So like the General's Accessory Pack, I assume it's going to be all kinds of like charts and rule summaries and this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I hope everything in there
will be able to merge into the next one,
with the next rule set, or like the timing on that one is kind of weird if it isn't. Anyway,
but battle companies, they're coming out with that too, right?
Yeah,
they mentioned that. So
there's going to be an official battle company.
Yeah. Well, years ago they released a battle companies product in the White Dwarves for The Hobbit. And I don't have a copy of it, but I bet if you sort of search online, you can probably find it.
Yeah.
DCHL probably has a copy of it somewhere and could probably get you a link. But there's other sort of like aftermarket type game formats.
There's
like,
been one like
Keith.
The one it's no longer the GW one is actually no longer the one that everybody plays. There's a fan made version which actually takes the GW rule set, and they're very straightforward about it. And they've added to it, basically really added factions and missions to it and expanded it
on how to improve your heroes and stuff. But
and so now
it's sort of like this game here where your heroes get better, or Shadow War Armageddon where your heroes get better, but it's skirmish, so you're using like 10 guys.
So it's like we're running a campaign of it in the OSBGL, and so the timing is
kind of ironic.
It's crazy for that because I think probably it'll come out later part of the year, and we'll just have finished our campaign. So
just in time.
I hope we're finished our campaign by the time that one comes out.
So
right, but I'm looking forward because it looks like they're giving it a full treatment. It's going to be like a fairly substantial rule book, it sounds like, with lots of missions and even like a little campaign in it and like all kinds of stuff.
Well, and I think what they're realizing now, because they had Shadow War Armageddon come out, which was a re-release of Necromunda. They now have the Age of Sigmar skirmish book.
It's not a coincidence.
No, not at all.
No.
They're now realizing, hey, we can get people to buy more models of varying factions by releasing a skirmish game where they're just sort of like put it into like
smaller format narrative games promote people dabbling in things
More
they
stuff.
normally wouldn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you're going to commit to an army, that's a huge investment for time and money.
Yeah.
But if you're only buying a few models,
it's a reason to give people to buy their first box set.
That's right. It absolutely is. It is the gateway into the Hobbit SPG, or it can be the gateway, because you need a handful of models. That's it.
Yep.
What else do you need? You know what I mean? I was actually looking at the Age of Sigmar skirmish rulebook today. I was thinking about picking it up, and
I got it.
Then I'm like,
I don't play it, but I got the skirmish rulebook.
I was thinking about it. It's $12, whatever.
Yeah.
Canadian, sorry, UK. It's you know,
it's pretty thin on content, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need a lot more because most of the profiles and stuff are
in a
you get your war
available.
scrolls anyways.
Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, I think that's where they're gonna go with the Hobbit skirmish game as well.
I agree.
Yep. 2018 brings out the new release as well, right? Talking about new release of books and that. So they tease that as well at Warhammer Fest.
So that's a year away.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the Battle of Pelennor Field and the fall of Osgiliath. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to be presented. Like, are they going to be releasing like campaign books for these two things, or are they going to be releasing like a model range for these things?
Maybe.
It would be really nice if they brought out Osgiliath pre-ruins. Because if it's the fall of Osgiliath.
Because like the ruins of Osgiliath itself are phenomenal.
Nice
it's a lovely kit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Lovely kit. But that would be pretty cool. Like, and they could play with that and expand it and just use that as sort of like the launching field for the new book, right?
Yep.
So it's sort of, they could focus on those factions or that area and then launch the book from there.
Well, I mean, that is the first talk about something Lord of the Rings that will be new. Like, not Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
So they're giving away what their first focus on Lord of the Rings is going to be, which is good. Because, hey, maybe we're going to get a new Knight of the Pelennor.
Which would be cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Maybe a new introductory box set for it as well.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say.
It would be.
So, like, especially if it's Osgiliath and Pelennor Fields, like, that would be, I'm sold. This guy right here. I don't need to spend more money, but I will.
All right, so the last thing I was going to talk about was just local SBG stuff, and I already touched on one of them was that we had a tournament in Barry's Bay. Pretty well a month ago, May 13th.
Hey, who won that one?
Who won that? It was Joseph.
Won Barry's Bay?
Joseph won Barry's Bay.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Ben wasn't playing because Ben was the TO.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was a rare loss for Andrew.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
to Garrett.
Yeah, his best friend Garrett.
Yeah,
and then
knocked him out of the runnings.
And then I tied him. So he had a loss, a tie, and 2 wins. So yeah,
he probably wasn't too happy with that, eh?
Oh, he was fine with it. Yeah.
That's well, he's won every tournament.
I think
except for that one,
did
right?
he come third? He placed anyways.
Yeah. And those two, Garrett and Drew, are heading over to Articon this year.
Yes, they're going to Articon,
which is good. I'm kind of wishing I could go, but
you and
money wise,
you and me both.
Money wise, and baby gets into everything.
Fortunately, I don't have that issue. Far beyond that.
Yeah. Different time frames here. Age groups wise, I mean
a little,
just a bit, but all the best to them. Like, I think that's going to be a great trip for them. And Articon is an exquisite event. I went last year to the first one, and it was just so cool to be in a room with like 140 plus people that are all here for just Hobbit SPG.
Nice.
That's crazy.
So,
and I know like James puts like a ridiculous amount of work into it. Financially it's just like big numbers, and it is
and
a lot of pressure to run a big event like that. A lot of pressure.
A lot.
So hats off to him.
Thumbs up.
So the Barry's Bay tournament, it was an all-hero format.
It was.
Do you happen to know what the winning list was?
The winning list I don't know exactly, but Joseph and I played in the last game.
Yeah.
And our lists were like
identical,
crazy similar. And like my list, I tried to take a hero from every faction that I could take.
Okay.
That was kind of how I did it. And his list was very similar in that we had, like, I took Farmer Maggot, he took Farmer Maggot. Right? It was like that, right? So there was a lot of characters that were in both. He had Saruman. I'm not sure which one. And he had Legolas. And yeah, those two combined pretty much, like, they killed me. Right.
Legolas,
he killed
Saruman.
I had one giant eagle, and he killed my giant eagle on the first turn. Compel, dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you're coming towards me 6 inches and everybody's going to jump on it.
Yeah. So his list, like, he had Dwalin, he had the King's Champion, I can't remember anymore, but anyway, he had a bunch of heroes from different, like, it wasn't...
I would have liked to have brought Smog.
Yeah.
With the Shadow Lord so you can't shoot him.
I think Jordan Moldovan from Montreal won the best army.
Yeah.
Which was Sauron, and then a really low-powered Witch King, and then a whole bunch of Castellans.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I played him in the first game, and tied him, and it was like, oh my god, it was ridiculously rough.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Did you get to use might on your ring save? Did you get to use might on his ring save?
No, I never put that much pressure on. He actually played really conservative with Sauron in our game.
Oh, really?
Because he wasn't familiar with how to use him, and it was the first game of the tournament, so he was being kind of conservative with them.
Yeah.
So I was mostly fighting the Castellans and the Witch King.
Interesting.
And I finally got rid of the Witch King, which was not easy, but anyway.
But you did.
Yeah,
excellent.
I did. And so in June, we have a tournament in Guelph being run by Evan Woodruff, and it's called, I think it's just called Fog. He's run it in Barrie a couple times, so it was Fog on the Barrie Downs.
Yeah.
But due to popular demand, he moved it to Guelph.
Yeah.
And it's now just known as Fog, right? And good decision, because I forget how many players it's going to be, 20 to 24.
24.
But like he listed the event and it sold out within like a couple days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's location, that was great. Right? That's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's like
that's the heart of our
community is all the majority is all that way. So
it's what we call the Golden Horseshoe here.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really where the majority of the players are.
It's true, because you have Toronto, then you have, like, it just continues to expand into Mississauga. Then it just continues to expand into Oakville, Hamilton, Niagara, St. Cat. Like that area is just,
and Guelph is like right
there,
just right there too. Yeah. So it's really convenient for the majority of the players in the group. So that's amazing, and that's going to be
where I'm on the far. I don't even want to say the far end.
I'm on the far end. You're like
no. Well, I'm on the yes. I'm sort of out of the loop, so it's hard for me to just get players for the Hobbit game out here to have a match for you guys to view. It's
So that one's going to be like a single faction. That's his format.
Yeah,
and he has one other composition rule, which I believe is your army has to have like a basic captain and a full warband.
Yeah.
And then he's made some contingencies for factions that actually don't have
like tier 3 hero.
I don't know.
That was somebody's question. I had to throw in Derek asking that. So I jokingly, I hope. I don't know.
So that's it for June. There's more stuff coming up in July, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's the Hamilton event.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow,
we'll talk about that one.
I think we had touched on anything else you want to talk about? Throw it there.
No. You? I'll think of something afterwards.
So I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, that's for the drive home, right?
Oh, next time on. So no, I think we covered it all. If you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them below. We will do our best to get back to you and answer you, whether it be replying to your comment or in the next video. You can throw in your questions. We'll do our best to answer them, right?
Absolutely.
So, Ian, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Don, thank you very much for coming. Guys, thank you for watching. Please check us out on Patreon. You can always lend us your support. It's greatly appreciated. Allows us to keep on doing what you're doing. As well, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ignite your hobby.
See you guys.